Live from Studio 6B in Rockefeller Center, this is New York Nightly News with Chuck Scarborough.
Did you know it is Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month? It is. And here to tell us more about the fight against this deadly disease is Dr. Philip Arlen. He's the CEO of Neogenix Oncology. Dr. Arlen, welcome.
Thank you, Chuck.
Let's talk about the problem. What is the mortality rate for this kind of cancer?
The mortality rate for this cancer is very high. Probably over 95% of patients who are diagnosed with pancreatic cancer end up succumbing to the disease.
Mm-hmm. How does it compare to other cancers that are also almost always fatal, like breast cancer or lung cancer?
Right. So those rates of occurrence in the United States are much higher. But if you talk about mortality, those cancers actually have a potential for cure. And there's a real need for hope for patients with pancreatic cancer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Has there been any improvement over the last 40 years in the rate of survival of pancreatic cancer?
Not really, and I think that's one of the things I've actually seen firsthand when I was at the National Cancer Institute treating patients, that really the changes in this field have been incremental up till now. But I think that real hope is now coming about really quickly. It's on the horizon at this point.
On the horizon with your company?
Well, with my company and in other areas with the science that's moving forward.
Well, tell me where you've got the breakthrough here, because nothing else has really worked. The traditional treatments don't really cure pancreatic cancer. So right. What's happening with Neogenix that's giving people hope?
So what we're doing at Neogenix is we're actually targeting the tumor. And what I mean by targeting, it's almost like taking a gun with a silver bullet and being able to pierce the tumor directly. The traditional approaches with chemotherapy it's almost like a blast, a big shotgun blast, where it indiscriminately kills both cancer cells and normal cells. You get the side effects such as nausea, hair loss, and the drugs aren't very good actually. But by targeting the cancer, not only can you reduce the side effects, but you can actually get a much better potency potentially, which would be better, which would lead to a much bigger breakthrough in terms of where we're going.
What are you targeting it with?
Well, it's interesting. What we've done at Neogenix, we actually have a platform of experimental cancer vaccines that had actually been used in the clinic in the past. And these vaccines actually showed clinical benefit to patients who had cancer in clinical trials. And what we've been able to do at Neogenix is actually take those vaccines, using it as a platform, and merging it with today's new technology. And what's interesting about this is that technology wasn't around 3 to 5 years ago. It's around now, and we've been able to take these vaccines, take today's technology, and make these monoclonal antibodies that are now actually targeting the tumor.
So they work in conjunction with the immune system to attack the cancer cell?
That's correct. So what we've been able to show is that not only can these particular antibodies turn on the immune response when used as therapeutics, but also they can actually be used for diagnostics, because these targets are actually shed into the serum, and you could actually detect cancer potentially at an earlier stage.
It's fascinating. How far along in clinical trials are you?
So currently we're actually in phase 1 clinical trials. We're working with Johns Hopkins University and Duke University right now in phase 1.
How soon will this be available for general public, if it's approved by the FDA, for the general public?
I think what's important is what the results show, and we're actually going to, the investigators at Hopkins will be presenting at one of the major meetings in January the preliminary data of the phase 1 clinical trial, and obviously as this data comes through, this will be presented to the public.
All right. Dr. Arlen, thanks for coming in and sharing the hopefully good news about this.
Thank you.